I am an Afro-Latin artist, Latina, Latinx, either or. Bridging cultures and languages have driven me to reimagine the world, my body, my family, my community, and our beliefs. By telling our stories through my work, I respond to and engage in dialogue with a broader segment of society. I'm calling attention to experiences of my bodies. Yes, make multiple bodies, but of my body, because I only have one, as they take place in a cross-cultural existence. Being in America, being in DR, and also understanding that throughout the world in cultures, my body is being understood differently, as well as yours is. I aim to take my community out of the shadows to insert my voice in history and into contemporary art dialogue. I think this talks about the medium that I pursue to make art. I pick mediums that are everlasting and traditional, that has been existing throughout time, and they were traditional forms of communication. As a first generation bilingual Dominican raised in New York, the world has been confusing and full of contradictions. Creating my own visual language has allowed me to decode the world and the stories around me. I have a really difficult time understanding the world and why people do things. And art allows me to translate it. As I become more aware of the broader world, but there are borders in our world as well, something I learned. Broader world, I set out to capture narratives that may not usually be shared, and preserve beyond my community. That's also sufficient. It is increasingly important to me to explore cultural issues and concerns as the subject matter of my artwork. I believe visual imagery can create empathy towards others by introducing an event through a different lens, understanding their frustration and their feelings. Art can just give us empathy. And for art, it's usually something that you have to try to understand. Sometimes you just can't understand it. In this way, I feel my artwork takes on elements of a social justice practice. I am drawn to printmaking because of its history as an outspoken medium. So this talks to like my beginnings as an artist, to communicate an idea. However, I have ventured beyond printmaking, allowing my stories themselves to guide my medium, which has included painting, drawing, sculpture, video, installation, and performance. I've done other stuff too, probably, that's not in this list. I've done paper making. The narrative shapes the making. Dun dun dun. The narrative shapes the making. Stories have allowed me to take an experimental approach to my methods. My art has evolved as I learn to work with new materials. The process itself is transformative. For me, it's all about the process and making. It's one of my favorite things in life. Maybe the only favorite thing. I love eating more. That's why I make art about food as well. No matter what method I have chosen for a particular work, I aim to develop my own visual language. A language that bridges exploration, and experience through mark making. I will always find a way to say something, to speak and be heard through what I create, and newly be preserved, because I choose to make in a way that will stay forever and find a way of capturing it, even if it's a performance.
If you guys want to know my real name, I go by V, but mine is Vera Fiordalisa Tineo. And then I have other last names, but continue.
What grounds would I create? What are my philosophies of an artist? Or this is what I want to imbue on people. Or also what I understand as part of the being an artist, being part of the making. One, I'm interested in the idea of giving people different experiences and exposures. Um, Another one is I'm here to hypothesis, experiment to get to an answer and a result, which means the execution may not be pretty. I may not feel like my result has been successful, but it's all about the experimentation to get anywhere with a project. I am a scientist. I'm in my lab, not in my studio. I like to say that now. The city is full of trash that can be reused. As much as I really like to create from scratch and build up and out, I look at the world as a place that's full of materials that I can use and make other stuff for. And let the world, the objects surrounding me affect how I create and inspire as well. Um, this one is use your body as protection for others. I make a lot of bodies, but literally, what does it mean to put your body in the forefront? Next, there's always aftermath. After a bomb, there is silence. And then my final one, hits and misses. Sometimes they land. Because I think being an artist and creating things is just a gamble. Gamble whether people understand or accept it. Because our objects are as curious as human people can be. My philosophies.